Hey everyone, my name is David Dunbar, the theme park evangelist. This next chapter of my Life as a Working Disney Cast Member series is actually very short, so I will do another one after this. This next one is celebrating the new year at Toy Story Land versus Tomorrowland. So I'll just kind of compare what it was like to work at Tomorrowland versus Toy Story Land or whatnot. And as I said, it really is not that long. So I worked at Toy Story Land at the very beginning of 2019, and that was actually the last time that I would be working at Walt Disney World, and also was my literal last year living in Central Florida. And 2019 was kind of a weird year for me. If 2020 wasn't weird enough, 2019 was weird too. This is the first normal year I've had since 2018. So 2019 was kind of a weird year for me because of the fact that I spent the first half of the year living in Florida, the second half of the year living in Kentucky. So I was really counting on 2020 to be a normal year, and then the pandemic hit, and then, everything was crazy. So this has actually been a pretty normal year for me. Other than the fact that I still don't live with my parents, but that's besides the point. I still see them quite often, so it's not too bad. And now that I'm going back to Kings Island again, I feel like things can finally go back to normal. I did finally have a vacation again in Central Florida, as you guys saw. So, I mean, so far this year has been going pretty well. And, I got that job with Answers in Genesis, so I think this year's going pretty well so far. I mean, yeah, it's not been 100% perfect, but, they always say no job is ever perfect. There is no such thing as a perfect job, which is what TJ is trying to find right now. So I just pray that he will finally learn that there is no such thing as a perfect job. There always are going to be bumps in the road here and there, but you always want to find a job that, at least for the most part, will make you happy, which is where I'm at right now. And that's all that matters. But anyway, I finished up my career of Disney in early April of 2019. But by early January, I knew I still had time. I was planning on being at the Walt Disney Company until at least um, late May. I had no intention of leaving just yet. I'm kind of glad that God worked out things the way He did, and I knew that He wanted me to leave earlier. I don't think that he wanted me to suffer the way he had me do it, but God definitely wanted me to leave the Walt Disney Company sooner. And sometimes, things just happen the way they do. And I'm sure God intended for that to happen. I don't think God intended for me to get as hurt as he did, but I don't 100% know. But that's in the next chapter. So when I was working at Magic Kingdom and at the very beginning of 2018, it was kind of a cold day. If I'm not mistaken, that was the same exact year that I wore my work pants to Disney, and I think I did wear a long sleeve shirt, but I don't 100% remember. A lot of employees were cold. A lot of employees, or I should say cast members, were trying to get early releases because nobody wanted to work. I wasn't terribly busy, but it wasn't terribly quiet either. It was kind of right in the middle. And a lot of people, like guests, were wearing their New Year's stuff. And I think there was another time at that year, or later on that year, when I worked at Animal Kingdom, and because I remember 2018, that was the same exact year I worked at Animal Kingdom, which is the part of the bonus vlogs. And I worked over at Flame Tree Barbecue, and I also worked at Rivers of Light. So I did get to work at Rivers of Light before it closed down, and I'll talk to you guys about that in a bonus vlog. So yeah, that was kind of cool that I did get to do all that stuff in 2018. But yeah, I don't remember finding working at Magic Kingdom on January 1st, 2018 to be overly exciting. Like, it it was one of those weird days that things were just kind of going like kind of slow, and I always found New Year's Day to be kind of one of those hazy days that employees are just like, I would just rather be home right now. I mean, the guests seem to be pretty happy though. And then the very next year, now that day was actually kind of busy. Now, when I worked at Toy Story Land on January 1st, 2019, now that was a very different story. I definitely would say compared to the following year, that was definitely a night and day difference compared to the following year. So I was, quite impressed. I was like, okay, well, if this is more or less like what New Year's Day is going to be like, then I like this better. I would say it was about 10 times busier. I didn't really see as many people wearing New Year's Day get up, but I would definitely say it was a much busier day. Um, and it was kind of like that for about a week or two. There was just a lot of people in the area, and we still had a lot of our holiday crowds just in general around. But Toy Story Land was just one of those places at the time that it was all that Hollywood Studios really had to offer. So whenever there was a lot of people in the area, we always got hit the hardest. So almost every day, every busy day, I should say, just kind of felt the same way. And honestly, that's how I would describe New Year's Day over there. I mean, it didn't really feel like New Year's Day, like working at Magic Kingdom anyway did. I would say the most memorable thing about January 1st, 2018, anyway, not last year, but 3 years ago, was the fact that KTJ and I decided to go and hang out at the park afterwards, and I, for whatever weird reason, brought shorts, and I was freezing my butt off, and I still get laughed at about it to this day. And then 2 years ago, it was just a normal day, went to work and then went back home afterwards. I didn't overly find it very exciting. Last year, ironically, I got New Year's Day off. I don't think I've ever had New Year's Day off. That's just been one of those weird days. I've always worked ever since 2012. So it was kind of strange. I was like, I wonder how I got today off. I don't remember doing much last year, and then this year, of course, I worked at Meyer on New Year's Day. It's just one of those weird days that most of the time you're going to be guaranteed to work. If I were working at the Ark Encounter, I can almost guarantee it would probably be very dead that day. It would depend on what day of the week it falls on. Like, let's look at next year, for example. Let's see what day of the what day of the week it falls on. I can do this really quick. It falls on a Saturday, so it might actually be somewhat busy the Ark Encounter that day, because of the fact that the Ark Encounter is going to be open on a Saturday until 6 p.m. So there's a chance that we might have maybe a couple of thousand people there that day, but that would be about it. But that's honestly that's pretty much what we get on a standard day now. I would say that the Ark Encounter on a standard day during the winter probably gets about 500 people. That's pretty low. And then on a Saturday, it probably gets about 1,000 to 2,000. That's still very quiet, but that's probably better than what it gets on a weekday. Right now, the Ark Encounter is definitely getting a lot higher crowds, but that's because we're also in steady season. We're going into busy season, so I feel like I would probably end up working on New Year's Day next year, because of the fact that it's on a Saturday, and then I would get the 2nd through the 4th off. Unless, of course, I happen to get a temporary job from Meyer until early March and then give up that job again. Anyway, that's really about all I have for you guys on that. kind of one of those pointless chapters I kind of had to go over, but or sections I should say, but it is what it is. I'm going to go take a little break now. Finally, I know I said that in the last vlog, but I saw that this chapter is so short, I just went ahead and did it anyway. But now I'm going to go take a little break because the next chapter is going to be pretty long. A good 30 minutes or so. So, yeah, I'm going to definitely need a break before I go into this one. So I was going to go and look up and see if Wonderfest at least was going to happen at Kings Island this year, and hopefully I'll find out something before I come back and do the next chapter. I'm going to do it the best as I can, and when I do it, you'll understand why this is going to be the one I've been not looking forward to at all. But I have to do it because you have to understand why I went all of a sudden from Toy Story Land to Epcot. And it wasn't because of my choice, it was because someone made a choice for me. And it's not because they were trying to help me, it's actually because someone just didn't like me. Unfortunately, though, let me just put it this way. You're going to meet people like that in life. It's just called, you just have to let it roll off your back. You have to let it, you can't let it bother you. You're just going to have to just learn to say, you know what, it is what it is. These things happen in life, you know? I mean, what are you going to do? So, anyway, I will be back momentarily, and then we'll get right into it. So, I will see you guys in the next vlog, and always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great day. Peace out.